Want to know how to pack a Ford Ranger for a 7-day overlanding trip through the African bush? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you how. I drive a 2021 Ford Ranger Thunder Edition. The Thunder really just is a special edition of the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, the older model before the brand new one got released recently. The only difference between the Thunder and the Wildtrak are a few cosmetic differences. You can see the horizontal red stripe on the sport bar over my shoulder there. It also comes with Thunder branding stitched into the front leather seats, as well as the leather dash, with red accessorized stitching along the dashboard. But other than that, it really just is a standard Ford Ranger Wildtrak. I've got the 4x2 version. It is the 2-litre bi-turbo with a 10-speed auto gearbox. Comes with 157 kilowatts of power. Really is an awesome drive. Great electronics inside the vehicle, which make it a really comfortable drive, and I've been very happy with it. Taken it on many trips into the bush, and it's never given me any issues whatsoever. This is the back of the Ranger, all packed up for our 7-day trip to the Kruger National Park. Custom drawer system designed especially to fit the Dometic 35-litre fridge. Drawer obviously slides out, and there's enough room in the back for ammo boxes and a whole lot of other gear that we need to take on our trip. So we would typically try and pack as lightly as possible for an overlanding trip into the bush, only really taking the bare essentials and not weighing ourselves down with unnecessary luxuries. The one luxury that we do afford ourselves, however, is this. It is our coffee kit. It is a bag from Front Runner. It actually fits inside of an ammo case, but we find it perfect for keeping all of our tea and coffee equipment, and this is what's inside. So for boiling water, we use the Jetboil. This is the Jetboil Zip, I think it's called. It's the smallest one in the Jetboil range, and it really is great just for boiling up water quickly. It's more than enough for 2 people. I think to boil an entire flask of water takes less than a minute and 20 seconds, so it's really quick, really convenient, runs on gas and fits nicely into the kit. Coffee beans, which we then use a coffee grinder to make into the coffee grounds, and I like to use the Stanley pour over. Nice and simple, you just put it over your coffee mug, dump in your coffee grinds, pour on the hot water, and that's it. Nice warm cup of coffee. Occasionally we do take ground coffee as well. Sometimes it's just easier than having to grind your own. We use this flask for filling up with water. We just keep it filled with water inside the kit, so we can always fill up the Jetboil if we want to make a quick cup of coffee on the way. This is the Stanley French press, another way of doing it. You put your grinds into the bottom, fill it up with water, and then just push down the plunger for a quick and easy cup of coffee. My wife is not a coffee drinker, she likes her tea, so tea bags, some sugar, and then our Stanley coffee mugs. And that is the coffee kit that we keep in the vehicle at all times. From a fridge perspective, I opted to go with the Dometic. This is the CFX 35. It's a 35-litre fridge. I was a little bit limited in terms of the type of fridge that I could put into the vehicle because of the drawer system we've built, and because of the hard roller cover that then pulls over. We only had a certain amount of space that we could actually use to fit in a fridge, and this 35-litre fridge fits perfectly at just enough clearance for the roller shutter to close. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so you can check the status of the fridge and adjust the settings on your phone if you so desire. Simple, easy to operate. We still have to pack this with food tomorrow before we leave, but I've already got a few beers and some drinks cooling, ready for the trip. Nothing like a cold beer when you get into the Kruger Park on a hot summer's day. But yeah, this is the Dometic CFX 35 litre fridge, more than perfect for 2 people, plenty of room for meats, vegetables, cheeses, milks, etc. Anything that we need to take along that needs to be kept cold. It can be set either as a fridge or a freezer. What we tend to do on trips like this is we'll freeze all of our meat before we leave, then put it into the fridge so that it slowly defrosts, and it's more than enough to last a good week or so. For longer trips, we would then stop en route at various supermarkets or butcheries along the way and pick up any additional meat that we might require. Also attached a little bottle opener to this, so always handy when you need a cold beer. So the drawer system has been designed to take 3 ammo boxes, and these are the 3 boxes that I would typically take with me on any trip. In one box I keep all of my electronic equipment, so there's a small Jackery for portable power charging requirements. I've got some lights, I've got some camera accessories, charging cables, etc. This box keeps all of the cutlery and crockery, so plates, knives, forks, cooking pots, all kept in there. And then in the third box, this one is for all of our dry good food that doesn't go into the refrigerator, so cereals, biscuits, porridge, whatever we might want to carry, bread rolls. There's also just a little bit of room at the back there where we can pack a few extra cold ones in case we get thirsty. And then that leaves enough room in the front of the drawer for me to carry a camera lens. This is my Sigma 150 to 600mm lens that I use when I'm in the bush. And then I've just got this little box which carries other odds and ends, an assortment of. So I've got another Canon lens here. I think this one's a 16 to 35mm. I've got a Bluetooth speaker in case we want to listen to music while in camp. A small first aid kit which carries medications, etc., and other odds and ends fit into that little box there. Just keeps everything nice and neat in the drawer so that nothing's rattling around and rolling around in the back of the vehicle. These are our Front Runner chairs. They are 2 fold-up chairs that fit nice and compactly into this bag. Really simple and convenient, and easy to pack into the back of the vehicle. The drawer system was specifically designed with these little cubby holes that go over the wheel arches, which then have enough room to pack an assorted odds and ends. I've got a first aid kit in there, a small recovery kit with some electronic components, extra Anderson plugs, screwdrivers, pliers, tape. There's a snatch strap. I've got a couple of bags full of ratchet straps and a few other odds and ends. There's a similar cubby on the other side of the vehicle. This one carries most of my equipment for camping, so I've got hookup cables for the solar panels, some Front Runner string lights to give us illumination at night, tent pegs all sit in there, and that stays all in the vehicle all the time, so that whenever we throw the rooftop tent onto the rack and head out, we don't have to worry and wonder where all the accessories are and to try and pack them. They just stay permanently in the vehicle. For the dual battery system, we opted to go for the National Luna DC25 green battery box. It's an all-in-one unit with a 12 volt 110 amp hour AGM battery in the back there. That then is connected to the front of the vehicle via a wiring harness that runs under the vehicle to the starter battery. Keeps it charged off the alternator whilst you're driving. The DC to DC charger then disconnects the battery system from the alternator and from the startup battery when we parked in camp, and we can then hook up a solar panel which keeps the battery topped up. The battery has a number of different inputs and outputs, so it's got a little meter that tells you what the state of the battery is. There are some USB plugs in the top there. There's a hella plug in the middle which we never use, an angle plug for the fridge, and then a normal 12 volt hookup, and that's all the wiring that then is connected to it. So the alternator battery plugs in there via the red Anderson plug, the black Anderson plug is for the solar input, and then the 2 grey Anderson plugs, one powers the Victron inverter which we've had installed to give us 230 volt charging capability should we need it to run various appliances, And then what I've actually done is I've run cables from the battery box into the front of the draw system here, which just allows me to easily plug in the solar there. And then I've got a grey Anderson plug here, which I can use for my compressor to inflate and deflate my tires as required. In the back of the vehicle, which I keep in here permanently, is a camp cover bag in which lives my air compressor for inflating and deflating my tires, along with my Indeflate system as well. Really simple to use. Just plug it into the grey Anderson plug at the front of the draw system, hook up the Indeflate, and it allows me to inflate and deflate 2 of my tires at a time to a constant pressure across both of them, which is really great for when you go into the bush and you want to drop the pressure on your tires, and again for when you're coming out and you want to put the tires back up to a pressure that you can use on the tar. I fitted a Front Runner rack over the back of the load bed on the bucky. This is what I use to attach my Front Runner rooftop tent to, using the same quick release brackets that the Awning has. So you put 4 of those quick release bolts on the bottom of your tent, lift the tent up, slide it into place, and then lock it with the lock it up to there. I think you can put pretty much any rooftop tent on top of the rack. I've opted for the Front Runner, but you can put an iCamper or a LU cab or any other tent of your liking, I guess, as long as the dimensions are suitable for the rack. We could also have fitted the rooftop tent to the actual roof of the vehicle. I just prefer having it over the load bed, as it keeps the top of the tent in line with the level of the roof, which just makes it a little bit more aerodynamic when driving around, unless of course you have ammo boxes attached to the roof, which then means that your fuel economy is going to be ruined in any case. The other nice attachment that you can put on the Front Runner rack is a table. Always handy having a table around camp, and they've designed a table and a carrier or a bracket that allows the table to slot underneath the roof rack like this. So you just open up this latch and out comes your table, which means that you've got a table with you wherever you go, making it really convenient and hassle-free. It stores right out of the way, so it doesn't take up any space and get in the way of any of your other packing. You are also able to attach a lock to this little bracket or to this little hook, securing your table to your rack so that it doesn't get appropriated by miscreants and go walkabout. On the side of the Front Runner rack that sits over the load bed, I've fitted a couple of Maxtrax recovery boards. These are obviously there for use in case of getting stuck, but actually what I use them for, and a few people have asked questions from some of my videos, you often see me parked in camp with 1 or 2 of these boards under my wheels. I actually use them as leveling boards to keep the back of the vehicle level, so that we're not rolling around inside of our tent and sleeping at uncomfortable angles. The Maxtrax recovery boards fit onto the side of the rack as well through a simple bracket that you can also buy from Front Runner. This bracket just screws onto the side of the rack, and then you can attach your recovery boards to the side. I know that Front Runner also make a different type of recovery board attachment where you can actually lie the boards flat on top of the rack and attach them that way. I, however, prefer to have them on the side of the vehicle with these brackets here. This is probably my favorite accessory on the vehicle. It's a bottle opener. Cheers. On top of the vehicle, I have fitted a Front Runner SlimSport roof rack. This just gives me additional options of carrying various accessories such as ammo boxes. As you can see, I've got a couple hooked up there at the moment with some Stratchet tie-down straps. We can also fit a gas bottle to the top there if we want to, or water tanks, or whatever else we need to carry with us on our overlanding trips. In these 2 ammo boxes on top of the vehicle, one contains firewood. I had some extra firewood left over, so I just threw it into the ammo box to take for our first night. We will buy additional firewood once we get to the park. It's a lot cheaper just outside, so we'll buy some and pop it onto the open space in the front of the roof rack and just tie it down with some ratchet straps. In the second ammo box, I've got a small little fire pit. It's a sheet metal which you quickly assemble, drop your firewood in there, and then you've got a nice little fire that you can sit around. I've also got some tongs for the braai, a few extra pieces of cooking equipment and braai equipment, as well as my gas burner fire stick, which you attach to your gas bottle, light it up, stick it under your coals or your firewood, and then you can get your fire going without needing to take any additional fire lighters. On the side of the roof rack, we have fitted a Front Runner awning. This is a 2 meter by 2 meter awning. It's not a batwing wraparound awning, it's just a straight pull-out awning. This gives us shade and cover when we're in camps. It's quite a nice simple one to set up. It can be done with one person. It is a lot easier with 2 people, but certainly it can be set up with one person alone. I've done it a few times on some of my solo camping trips, and it's just a really nice accessory to keep on the vehicle to give yourself shade and shelter when camping, or even on the side of the road if you're stopping for a cup of coffee. It's very easy just to pull out and escape from the midday sun or from any inclement weather that might be coming down. The awning is fitted to the SlimSport roof rack, and we've used these quick release bolts. The awning just slots into that little V groove, and then you can lock it down with this. It just makes it nice and easy to remove the awning from the vehicle for daily driving when you don't want to be having the awning attached to the side of the vehicle all of the time. These are the Front Runner quick release awning bolts. Nice little contraption. You just line this up with the V-shaped connectors on the side of the roof rack, drop it into place, and then take the clip and lock it onto there. So it's nice and firmly secured, but also easy to remove at any time should you need to. I have got the BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tyres fitted to the vehicle. I've left the standard Ford Ranger Thunder rims on the vehicle. I haven't swapped those out. They are 18 inches, so maybe a little bit big for overlanding, but I've got the 265/65 size tyres on, so there's a fair amount of sidewall, but I think for quite hectic trips, if you're wanting to go rock crawling or whatever, certainly a smaller sized rim would be worthwhile and recommended. So the back seat of the vehicle we just used to store any additional items that I can't fit into the back of the bucky. So I've got my 3 litre gas cylinder, solar panel. We've got a little fan we can use in the Kruger to keep ourselves cool at night because it gets very, very warm up there. Camping chair, my laptop bag and some spare camera equipment, another ammo box which we will fill with food, and then my wife's clothing bag and my bag will sit on the back seat as well. This is the front of the Ford Ranger. When going on long trips, I just keep a bean bag for camera, shooting out the window, that type of thing. I keep my camera easily accessible, but otherwise standard Ford Ranger cabin. Instead of using a dash cam, I've hooked up an older a GoPro Hero 7 Black, which I stick onto the front windscreen. It doesn't run all of the time. It's really more for filming rather than for keeping track of traffic incidents. It sits there nicely. I can actually plug it in. There's a USB port on that front mirror array, which allows me to keep the GoPro battery charged if I want to, and then I just turn it on and off as we spot anything interesting along the way when driving through the bush. On the back of the Ranger, I've got another GoPro which I've attached to the Front Runner rack. This is the same rack that the tent sits up on top of. The GoPro there I can control remotely through my phone inside the vehicle. This just allows me to take some different camera angles as we are driving along the road through the bush. Just makes for something a little bit more interesting. Just 2 more items that I would typically take into the bush with me. One is this. It's an Elva little portable gas cooker. Comes neatly compact in a little case like this. You just take this piece and flip it over, and there you've got your little prong things to put your pot or your kettle on if you want to use gas. It operates off of a little butane gas canister. You open this up, slot in the gas canister and light it, and you are a for away. And then the last item that I would take along is just a plastic wash-up bowl for cleaning pots and pans and knives and forks and crockery. We just keep this in the back of the vehicle. We have a couple of bottles of Sunlight dishwashing liquid, some cleaning sponges, a brush for some of the harder to clean things, and a number of dish towels and washcloths. And this just slots into the back of the vehicle there, and then we've got everything that we need for our trip. So that is effectively how we pack for a 7-day overlanding trip to the Kruger National Park. As you can see, really we have everything that we need, no unnecessary luxuries. The only thing we still need to throw into the vehicle are just our clothing bags, which we'll do in the morning just before we leave. And the next time I speak to you, we will be in the Kruger National Park. Thanks for watching.